So as we think moving forward about sort of, this next generation of consoles, and there was, been a lot of controversy about, Microsoft trying to kind of expand with, TV, sports, things like that, and Sony kind of focusing very much on the core, hardcore gamer. Translate this back to the console audience here. I mean, are these systems going to appeal, do we think, to a wider audience?
I definitely think that the Xbox One probably will. I mean, right. The TV thing, using my father as an example again, somebody that's kind of dabbling in that console gaming and yet, isn't what you would call a hardcore gamer. He'll feel more comfortable buying something and spending his money on something like an Xbox One because it offers kind of an entire entertainment system. He feels like he's getting his money's worth. It has other options, so he kind of feels special, like he can watch Netflix, and nothing that's not necessarily new to us that we already didn't expect, but new for him. And so something where if he was to walk into a Best Buy and ask the guy at Best Buy, this is the criteria I'm looking for, and they suggest that, he'll probably go with that. Versus him walking in and saying, I'm looking for all this, and they don't really know that he's into gaming or getting into gaming, they probably won't look at him and suggest PlayStation 4.
But and this is, I guess, more of a business question for you, Michael, can Xbox get there if they can't get the core gamer? I mean, you look at what happened with Nintendo and the Wii, and it kind of went broader, and the core was sort of there. There's always that Nintendo base. But does Xbox have a problem if they can't get the core gamer? Will they never get to this sort of wider audience?
The device has to be a gaming device first. Right. And I think the analogy is a smartphone. I mean, nobody buys a smartphone solely because they want to access the internet while they're out and about. They buy it because they need a phone. Right. And the selling point of that phone is, yes, I can communicate, and oh, look at all these other cool things I can do. So you pick that model because it does other things. Right. You're going to buy the frickin' Xbox One or PS4 because it plays games, and then you might decide among the two because it does other things, and the other things, as Jessica said, are a selling point. But you have to be walking in to buy a game console.
You're not going in to buy a new, TV tuner.
Right, because that's like saying you're buying an internet, a portable PC that fits in your pocket. I mean, no one thinks of their phone that way, right. But it really is that. Yeah. But you just don't think of it that way. And I actually almost got a Galaxy Note because I can do spreadsheets on it, and it's big, and then I thought. I got a laptop, and I don't really want to do all that productivity stuff, so I'm stuck, in that with a smaller phone. But no, I think Microsoft has to sell, and Sony have to sell their boxes to the hardest core guys, because those are the guys who are going to tell all their friends.
And they're going to pay, $400 or $500 this year.
And they're going to pay $5 a month for Xbox Live, and they're going to download a lot of stuff, and they're going to buy a lot of movies, and they are so lucrative. And honestly,
lucrative.
But the guy, is that the word you were looking for before? The guy who wins this next generation is going to be the guy who gets the biggest install base the quickest. And I don't know if that's first guy to 10 million or first guy to 30 million, but it's that. This is the first console cycle we've had ever, I think, where the two big competitors launched at the same time.
Head.
Yeah.
I mean, ever. I think, yeah, because Sony 95 and Nintendo 97, and then 2000 and then 2001 with Sony and Microsoft, and 05 and 06. This time they're together. So I would say the first guy to 30 is the first guy to 100 is the guy who wins.
He's got a 500.
And well, that's why the $100 price point matters. Yeah. That's why DRM mattered, and that's why Microsoft better explained to us why all these extra features, why Connect bundled in, why it's worth $100. Because right now Sony's ahead because they're $100 cheaper, and if you see two burgers that look identical, and one is $1 and one is $1.25, you're going to go eat the dollar burger because they look the same. And
it's just interesting to me that I feel like, how do I want to put this? I feel like the mistake was made again, and by that I mean with PlayStation, and this is just my personal experience, with PlayStation 3, I waited a long time before I bought that console because when it was launched, it was so expensive, right. Or that's the way that I perceived it to be, and I felt that it was expensive because they were forcing a Blu-ray player into that, where I didn't necessarily want that. And so I was really kind of bitter about it and passed on it and eventually got it, but once the price had dropped. And I feel that that same exact mistake was made at the announcement for the Xbox One because they forced Connect on you, and you don't, it's, whatever the reason may be. You
They haven't even shown any games.
I mean, I have a
really. They use
Connect now and I barely use it. That's not to say that I'm not going to use the next one, or maybe that I don't, or who knows what they've got planned, because you truly, at the end of the day, don't know till it's in your living room.
But I would say with Connect this year, I mean, they haven't really even shown any games for Connect.
It's not games. It's Skype.
Advertising.
It's
Those
Skype
voice
and
commands.
it's Skype.
Xbox on.
It's Skype, and it's their belief that the searching for a television program is easier with voice. I don't agree.
It's nonsense.
No,
How often
I
do
would
you
much
use Siri?
rather
How
use a
often do you use
tablet.
Siri to surf the web?
Never. I don't see. I have Siri on my iPad and my phone. Never. The only time I ever use voice on my phone is if I'm in the car. I dictate responses to texts or to
Play Macklemore.
No. I dictate answers to emails and texts because it's easier. But other than that, no. I think they're wrong on that. The camera, I think, is real, and I've been, again, vilified on saying Skype is a killer app. I think when people see that you can actually have your friend watch your gaming session, help you through it, coach you, do whatever, or you can just show off, I think they're going to like it. I think they're going to like it a lot. I think gamers are going to like that.
I mean, I'm very curious to see how it all plays out. I'm not trying to poo-poo on either side.
No.
I mean, I just know. Listen,
I knew
at the
you'd
end
get
of the
that.
day,
I knew you'd get poop in there, a little poop joke.
little poops jokes. At the end of the day, no matter how much everybody conjectures, you just don't know till it's in your living room. I mean, it's. So I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna wait and see. And
But if you could only buy one?
Cue the dramatic music.
Come on, nobody's paying you. It doesn't matter.
I honestly, I don't. This is gonna make me sound so bad. I've never only bought just one console in my entire life, so
You're very fortunate.
I'm very fortunate. I'm very fortunate. So it's one of those things where I don't know if I have a right answer for that question.
Well, I think part of it now is, gamers, if they know, the systems that they know now, the kind of games they like to play, it's clear PlayStation is the system that you want. The question is, with all these things Xbox is talking about, as you said, can they do, I think there's much more advanced technology in that box. I mean, when I would do tours at E3 between the two booths, you'd say, here's PlayStation 4, it's a better PlayStation, and here's Xbox and all these cool tracking things they're doing with skeletons and track your heart rate and things, and people be like, wow, that's amazing, but it's like, how does that translate into something?
It's always going to be
that's
games. It's always going to be games. Like when there was the PSP and the Nintendo DS,
Right.
there was like no way the Nintendo DS was going to make it. Look at everything the PSP does.
Right.
And it's just the games. Like Nintendo DS had freaking great games.
Yep.
And same with 3DS, I guess, against the Vita,
Great point.
And that just like died. And so like no one's going to say like, have a great game on a PlayStation 4 and look at his friend's Xbox One and be like, oh, I wish I had camera features. No one will do that because this person has great games. And that is what it's going to be.
But don't you think both sides are going to have great games?
Yeah, and it's going to be like the system that has the best games. You know what I mean? I think that.
Well, but yeah, Sony, this last generation probably arguably had, even better first-party games probably than Microsoft, and yet Microsoft still, at least in the U.S., pulled ahead. So it's like I think they're both going to have good games,
Yeah.
but it's like, yeah, it's going to be it's going to be a great battle, though. I think that's the thing, and it's like hopefully, the battle will create a lot of excitement, or the public will have to decide, do I want one of these systems? What are the differences between the two? And much like when you're buying a cell phone, you have to look at the features and decide, this is $100 cheaper, but this has that, and like hopefully people will buy one of them, and it's like, core gamers will probably eventually buy both, but it'd be great for the industry if just a lot of people just bought one.
Yeah, I mean, like about the last generation, nobody only sold 20 this time, Nobody only sold 20 million. Like I feel like a pretty good last generation, you know what I mean? Nobody failed. And
Unlike this coming generation.
you think someone will fail? You think someone will top off at 20 this time?
I'll know more in about 12 months.
I don't think I think we're all more supportive.
But
you know
you're
what I mean?
predicting the Wii U is only going to
I
get
think
to
the Wii
30 or
U
something like that.
I think the Wii U will do 30 to 50, but I think 30 is pretty bad. 50 they'll be okay. They probably won't lose money.
But now Iwata's saying he's not going to step down. So.
Oh, really? No
Well,
matter
he said
what?
he
No
said-
matter what their profit level
He
is?
said, yeah, he wasn't gonna. He didn't know what. Didn't he say like last week in
he
investor meeting? He
coulda.
said like, oh, I'm not.
I think he just said, I don't remember saying that. I don't
remember saying I was
yeah.
gonna step down.
No, he might have said it on Giant Bomb after some alcohol. So that's probably what happened. That's probably why he doesn't remember. Okay.
All right, well, we'll see. So it's going to be an interesting battle for the holidays. And when we come back next week on the bonus round, we've got more with Michael, Jessica, and